Good afternoon, everyone. The flow of our session today will follow the objectives that Michelle identified. I'm sure that if any of you have taught a class within Blackboard, you know that there are many features that you have available to you. Um, as Michelle indicated, the intent of this session is to identify any new features available in the Blackboard upgrade that will be available as of August 2nd, 2013, as well as to go over features that maybe you never ever used before or maybe had some confusion about. With that said, there is a new feature that's available as of August the 2nd. We are still testing that feature, and I have a video about that feature. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that feature because Blackboard just released this building block as of March 29th, 2013. However, it looks very promising and I'm very excited about it. So I want to briefly show you what's in store for you as of August the 2nd, 2013.
Hi everyone, this is Vivek from Blackboard, and I've got a new video that a lot of faculty and instructors have been waiting for, inline assignment grading. With the needs grading view and a full grade center, plus inline grading for blogs, journals, wikis, discussion boards, and now assignments, we provide you with such an efficient and consistent grading workflow. Now instead of downloading files that you need to view, edit, and grade, you can look at the Word, Excel, PowerPoint docs, or PDFs inline right within the web browser. And the various attempts and assignment information is all there for your reference as well. And right here on the screen, an instructor can comment, highlight, draw freeform, add text boxes, or cross out text within the document itself. There's no need to download this document, work outside of the system, and then re-upload it into Blackboard Learn. We're eliminating several steps to save you time. And imagine the time savings across dozens or hundreds of assignments a semester. If you've created a rubric for this assignment, or want to leverage one that's already in Blackboard Learn, you can access that directly through the sidebar as part of the grading process. You can provide additional feedback within the rubric itself, or within the sidebar in the comments section. And let's say you're meeting with a student during office hours. You can download the annotated version of the assignment, the one that has your comments and edits and strike-throughs and feedback to review in person with the student. I hope you're excited about how Blackboard's making the grading workflow much more efficient for you. Feel free to tweet questions to me at Tweets by Vivek or by leaving comments on this YouTube page. Make sure you check out my other videos that cover the rebuilt calendar, retention center, and discussion. Thanks for the
I just want you to know that that video will be available on our OAT site, and we will also have that link available for you as well as documentation on what that feature is supposed to do. So with that said, if you have any questions related to that feature or the intent of that feature, feel free to shoot questions, but keep in mind that we're still testing. The course that you see is a course that we've repopulated within our test server for testing purposes for this tools training. So the first section that we're going to cover is learn to organize the grade center. And so now the first thing we're going to do is create a grade center column. So I'm going to go to the full grade center, which is under the grade center, and then I'm going to click full grade center. And you'll notice that there are some tabs. There are automatically these tabs whenever you enter your grades center, and these are various action bars that you have available to you, and that's the create column, the create calculated column, the manage, and the reports, and we'll cover those later on. So when we go to create a column, this is when we're creating a manual column. So I'm going to select create column, and I can enter a column name. And you'll notice I have done this already, so I'm just going to use test 1, but I'm going to change it to test 2. If you do not enter a grade center name in this area, the grade center name is what you would like your users to see in your grade book, or I should say the grade center name is what will appear in your grade center. And this will be what your users see when they go click my grades. So even though I've named this column name test 2, I want this to be called assignment 1. And I could give it another description, and I could say book report right here. And then if I scroll down, the primary display for this is going to be a score, and you have some other options. The secondary display is defaulted to none. The primary display is always defaulted to score, and you can always do a secondary display if you need to. The category, I'm going to have the category be an assignment, and I'm going to make this assignment worth 2 points. The default in Blackboard is always, unless you choose otherwise, to have it be within the grading period as none. And unless you create another grading period, you won't see the option that you have available. I've created another grading period for the purposes of this session, and we'll talk about that a bit later. It's defaulted not to have a due date. If I wanted to select a due date, I could create one right here, and then this due date would appear for your students when they click that My Grades tab for the students, and they would see that this particular assignment is due on 4/12 at 11:59 p.m. And number 3, the options for this assignment is automatically defaulted to be included in the Grade Center totals calculation. So 2 points are going to be defaulted to be included in the Grade Center calculations. It will show this assignment in the columns for my grades for the students, and it will be part of the statistics. I'm going to click submit. Whenever you create a column within the Grade Center, it automatically defaults to appear at the end of your Grade Center. So you'll see where this assignment 1 column is at the end. And remember, if we go and we click column information, so let me go back. If we click the chevron or the pull down menu and we click on it, you have all of this quick column information, view grade history, or edit column information. If we edit column information, that's all the information that we just put. And remember, I named it test 2, but I wanted it to appear in my Grade Center as assignment 1, and we see where it does appear as assignment 1. So your students will see this in their Grade Center as assignment 1. So now, whenever there's 2 ways that you can create a column or an assignment within a Grade Center. You can create a manual column, which creates an assignment or whatever category you categorize that column as, or you can create additional type of assignments, and we'll talk about that after I show you how to create a weighted uh, grade column, because that's next on the list. So next, I'm going to, for the purposes of this demonstration, I already created a weighted column. So you'll see within Blackboard, there are already 2 default columns that always appear in your Grade Center, and that's a totals column and a weighted column. So for the purposes of this demo, I populated this column. So the column name is weighted total. And I put in a description about a weighted totals, and you can read that. But a weighted totals column, the primary display will default to be a percentage. The secondary display will default to be none, but for the purposes of my column, I wanted the secondary display to be a letter grade because I'm using my weighted totals column as the overall totals for my class and not the running totals column that automatically defaults with the class as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. In number 2, remember I said the grading period, the default is none. I left the default as none. If we scroll down to 3, there's 2 types of areas within that you can select from in your weighted totals column. The top area identifies all the different assignments that you've created within your particular class. And then the second area are all the different categories that you have to select from. When you're creating a weighted totals column, your total weight must equal 100%. As a result, the easiest way to create a weighted totals column is to use this top area to include assignments that you've created within your course. Therefore, you need to have all of your assignments categorized appropriately. So if we look at my class, you'll see that I have my assignments categorized within 5 different areas. I have assignments categorized as 27%. So journals, papers, all of those are categorized within assignments. Discussions, quizzes, and tests are all within. If I scroll down here, you'll see those within the test category. So discussion, so I have it weighted and it equals to 100%. I'm going to go to my column. I'm going to flip a screen really quick and then I'm going to come back to this. The purpose for me doing this is so that you can see how I have these particular assignments that I've weighted within this top area categorized. So keep in mind that I have a blog, I have a journal, I have quizzes, I have a week 1, a week 2, all of these different assignments so that you can see how I have them categorized for my weighted totals column. So I'm going to go back to my GradeCenter and I'm going to go to my Manage tab, and then I'm going to go to column organization. Within the full GradeCenter, how you organize your GradeCenter, you can only organize it through the column organization tab, which you can only get through the Manage tab. So if you look, I have 2 grading periods, which I mentioned earlier. And you'll see, though, how I have a category and I have all of these various assignments set up within these categories. So I have assignments, test, discussion, and a blog. So I only have 4 different categories. So now if I go back to my full GradeCenter and we go back to that weighted totals column and we look at my categories to look and see, you'll see where I have assignments. So I put all of these different assignments within the assignments category. I put all of my safe assignments within the safe assignment category, which were 2 papers. I put all of my discussion board forums within the discussion category. I put all of my tests and quizzes within the test category. I put my 1 blog within the blog category, and the total weight equal to 100%. And this was how I got my weighted column. And a weighted column should, in order for it to be correct, it should be calculated as a running total. And then the options that you want to use, you want it to be, you want to select it where it's a column where it's calculated within the GradeCenter columns and that is shown to your students. So now if I go back to quickly demonstrate how we would create another one, I'm not going to save it because we already have one. So let's just say I do weighted 2. And you see it's defaulted to none. And so I'm just going to do my assignments at 25. Then I'm going to do my discussions at 25. I'm going to do my test at 25. Then you'll have to scroll down because sorry, didn't pull the test over. There it is. And then I'm going to do my block at 25. And that'll equal out to 100. I'm not going to save it because I already have a weighted totals column, but that's how this weighted totals column in theory works. And that's how it works as long as you have your assignments categorized correctly. So now, how do I change? Say I have an assignment and I don't have it categorized correctly. So let me go back to my full GradeCenter. And remember I said I can go to my column organization tab. And remember here, I can look. So say I decided, oh no, I want my discussion 4 to actually be an assignment. So I can actually change that quickly in this view by selecting it and then, excuse me, going further up here, changing category to assignment. So now if we go back to week 4, we see where it's an assignment now. When you are in the column organization view, you'll see up here it says changes have been made but not saved. Click submit to save the changes. If you save something within column organization, it will not save unless you submit it. So now if we go back, you'll probably see where my percentages have changed. So before Michelle had 90 something percent, but because I've changed some weights a little bit, she's down to 80 something percent. So that's how you create a weighted totals column. So if you have any questions, Michelle and Gwen and some other people are down there. So feel free to send it to them. So I've talked about columns. And actually, let me go back there because I want to talk about, we talked about how to create a manual column. In the grade book, Whenever you use an interactive tool such as a wiki, a blog, a journal, an assignment link, a safe assignment link, um, um, I believe I said blog, it automatically creates a column within the grade book as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that this will be shown in more detail when those tools are gone into, because we have more tools training on those specific tools. So for the purposes of this training, I'm just going to quickly do my journal tool. Actually, and I'm sorry, I'm going a little rogue, but it's only for the purposes of showing this. So if I created a blog and I wanted it to, this is only for the purposes of this. I'm going a little rogue. Sorry for whoever is doing the blog tool training. So now I'm going next, and I'm going to submit that. And this is only so that when I go back to my full grade center, you'll see now that I have this block 2 column. So whenever you create an interactive assignment, it automatically creates a column in your gradebook. And you'll notice that I made this assignment worth 2 points. So you remember I also said that if you create a column, I believe I said this, if you create a column manually, you can delete a column without a problem if it was created manually. So I created this column manually. So if we drop down, I can just easily delete this column without a problem because it was manually created. However, when you create a interactive tool, it is not, you can't just delete it, because if you break the link, then you're going to have problems. This is oftentimes why if you teach here and you see where you can't get rid of an assignment out of your grade book and you have to end up hiding it, is because that assignment or that column was set up as an interactive tool. So this is my disclaimer related to this. When in doubt, contact OAT and specifically ask to speak to an instructional designer, and we can always create that particular assignment for you or provide one-on-one training for you. So with that being said, let me go back to this. So now I can't just go and delete this. You see, I don't even have a way to delete this. So either I would have to hide this column in my grade book. So I can either go here and hide it this in this view, or I can go back to my manage column organization and then go down this way and hide it like this. But guess what? My students are still going to see it in their grade book. My students are still going to see it in their grade book. So I've discovered that I need to get rid of these points. So in order for me, hiding it just won't do it. So in order for me to make the points not appear in my calculated points so that my students won't see it, I need to show this, save it, go back to my full grade center, edit this. This is, say you just don't know how to get rid of it. And then I'm going to say, no, I don't want these 2 points to appear in my overall gradebook total, and I don't want it to appear to my students. So I'm going to say submit. And then I also want to hide this. So now if I go back to manage column organization and we scroll down, well, I just hit it to users. So let me hide that again. So now we'll see where it's hidden. I am not going to show you how to actually delete it because that is going to be shown in the blogs um, course tools training, and I don't want to go more in depth in that. So now I've shown you thus far how to create a grade column, I've shown you how to create a grade column, how to create a weighted grade column, how to delete and hide columns, and when to delete versus when to hide. So you can delete when you've manually assigned a column, but you need to hide when you've created an interactive assignment. And when you've done that and you don't want those points to show to your students or in your overall calculated totals, I've shown you how to make those points not appear in your calculated totals and how to hide that from your students as well. Now I'm going to show you how to reorder your columns. Now I want to have a disclaimer go out. Within Blackboard, there are some known issues as related to certain browsers. While Firefox is the preferred browser with Blackboard, because it is the browser that has the most full functionality when you are using it with Blackboard, there is a known issue as it relates to reorganizing your grade book. So if you see when I drag and drop to organize, if it doesn't stick, that's a known issue. So what I will say is that if that happens, Chrome is a browser that will work for reorganizing your gradebook. So say my gradebook is out of sync. So with me, whenever I see hidden columns, I never want to see hidden columns mixed in with my other columns. So I always like to pull my hidden columns all the way to the bottom. What I just told you just happened. It just flew up. But in theory, this is how it should happen. You should be able to just drag and drop. But when you drag and drop, you hit submit. Even though it looks like that, when I click submit, it's going to work right. Whenever you click submit, you have to go back to column organization to look and see if your change actually worked. And you'll see where when I drug extra credit up, it actually did work, even though when I was trying to do it, it didn't appear as if it was. So you can reorganize your gradebook by simply taking the little handlebar and dragging and dropping it. Say I don't want my totals column to appear at the very top, then I would follow that same function. And that just happened again, but I'm going to click submit. And then I'm going to see if that stuck. And it did. So now we've just gone through how to reorganize columns. So let's talk about creating categories for grade columns. So if we're going to go back to the full GradeCenter. Typically, you're going to do this when you create an assignment. I want to just edit something but I just deleted something. probably showing you a hack way, which is not good because so if we go to column organization, this is the easiest way to go here and click create category. But I was going to show you another way where you can actually edit a category but delete that way. This is the clearer way to do it. So say you want a category that says blended assignments. Then you would give it a description: in class and online assignments. Then you would submit it. And then where is it? Oh, it's in number. It's in the second page. Sorry. You guys see it? To my Oh, there it is. Here it is. Okay, that's how you create. Let's talk about changing column categories. I showed you how to do that under column organization. If you have any questions, shoot them to Michelle or Gwen. Is there anything that we need to address?
Yes, Tara, we do have a few questions.
Yes, Tara, we do have a few questions. Actually, we have some questions regarding Safe Assign, but we will get to those in a different session. Those don't really pertain specifically to the grading center. But can you talk about working offline in the Grade Center? What does that mean?
Yes, working offline in the Grade Center. That means typically working offline, really what that means is that you can download your grade book. And when you would go back into if I go back into the full Grade Center view, if you notice, we have this tab that says work offline. And then what it allows you to do is to download your Grade Center. And then you have options. So you see, since I created that grading period that was called interactive, I don't want that because I only had that one blog assignment in there. So I'm going to say I want my full Grade Center, and I have the option to say what columns I want to select. So say you only want to grade week 7 assignments. You can specifically set that, or you can do the full Grade Center, or you can select specific user information. And if you selected specific user information, it would download it by specific user information. But I'm just going to download week 7. And then you only have these particular options. And tab, including hidden information. I'm not including hidden information or comment. And it's going to download as a .xls or a CSV. So it comes, it downloads, pretty much in an Excel format. And I'm going to download this right now. And if you download it into your content collection, then it's going to download in Blackboard. So why don't I show that? So say I download it into my content collection. These are my options. So I could download it. I don't want to download it there. Maybe I can download it into one of these options. I'm not going to do that now because we are working within a test environment, and our options within the test environment, I don't want to do it right now. but for the purposes of this, I'll just do download to my computer, and then I'm going to hit submit. And then I'll hit download. And then I'm going to hit open. Well, let me do save file. Oh. So it's showing my users in my week 7 gradebook assignment. So say I wanted to grade that and I wanted to give them points. So I want to give Michelle 10 out of 15. I want to give Jane Doe 15. And I want to give Ryan 20. And I want to give Tara 25. And then I'm going to save this. And it's only out of 15 points, Ryan told me. So I'll give, I'm going to give Michelle 10, yeah, and give Tara 15. And then I'm going to save it. And I'm going to show you how you can actually re-upload this. And then I'm just going to do that to my desktop so I know. I'm going to close this so I can re-upload it. Okay, so now I want to re-upload this. So let's go find it. Actually, let's just go to manage column organization. Week 7. Oh, I gotta go to the students.
Tara, while you're doing that, I'd like to
There it
address one of
is.
the other questions
So
real
you see
quickly.
the grades.
Margaret had asked, and for some reason Margaret is showing up as Michelle Dawson, so I think she's my evil twin today. But she wanted to know why she would want to use a weighted column, and I'd just like to say you can use a weighted column if, for example, if you want the tests to be more heavily weighted than the assignments or vice versa, you would use a weighted column in that instance.
And also, we've put together this document, which will be on our OAT site. You know, it shows how weighted columns work and why people, when weighted grades are helpful and when students get confused. And so that'll be on the OAT site. So some instructors use weighted grades a lot of times when they want their assignments to be more proportional within their grade, overall grade totals. And then sometimes also, some instructors use weighted totals when they are not fully prepared. Um, they don't have their classes fully prepared. So say they have 25 assignments and they don't know how they are fully going to assign the point or how each assignment is going to be allocated, in the overall point total or assignment calculations for the course. But that document will be on the OAT site. And if you have any further questions after seeing it, then feel free to contact us or contact me. Any other questions?
We do, but we're going to have to answer those offline at some point because we need to get moving on to the next section. So if you don't mind, Tara, why don't we talk about grading students in the Grade Center?
Okay, well, we've already talked about a little bit about, we started with the assigning grade or how grades are, columns are calculated. So we see we're right in the full grade center. There's one easy way to do it. We can just easily point our mouse right into a cell and click in it and give a point. That's the simplest way, and hit enter. Or we can click down the drop down or the chevron, select view grade details. Then you see a number of different options appear. And you see Jane hasn't did any attempts for this assignment. I'm going to select next. But this is a great one. Jane hasn't, typically right here what I would do, but this right here, you can hit column detail right here, column history. But Jane, she hasn't attempted anything. But say I said, oh, Jane sent me her assignment via email, which is a no-no, even though, okay, Jane sent me her assignment via email, so I didn't have the assignment link for Jane. You know, that happens all the time. So I'm going to do a manual override for Jane. So what I just did, let me go back right here because I didn't have an option right there. So I'm going to go to view detail, and you didn't see where I had a way to put any points in for Jane. So what I'm going to do, I didn't have a way, so I'm going to click manual override, and I'm going to give Jane 5 out of 10 points. And then in this feedback to user, I'm going to say you should have used the assignment link. That's a bit harsh to the students. Now, this is also important. When you want to give your feedback to your student and you want them to see it, and when they hit the My Grade section, you must provide that feedback in this area that says feedback to user. Because if you put any information in the grading notes area, the student will not be able to see it. The grading notes area is for the instructor or anyone with TA rights or anyone who has the ability to grade. So the manual, what I just did was I did a manual override in order to enter Jane's grade since I didn't see where I had a link for her. So I'm going to click save. And so now if I go back to to the grade center, we'll see where now I have 5 points for Jane. Well, let's go over here to another assignment. I'm looking for a regular assignment. Some of these assignments are interactive assignments that I really don't want to get into, and a few of them are safe assignments that Carolyn will be covering in her course tools training coming up. But typically, what I'm going to do really quick, because it's not giving me what I wanted, I deleted that manual column that I created. I really need to show you another I had to put a total. I'm only doing this because when you select the drop down and you select view grade details, then you also have the ability in the current view to, and that's similar to manual override. But when you provide the grade for Michelle, you can provide the grade for Michelle, good job. Then you can go to next. Excuse me. And then provide the grade to Jane Doe, do better. And it just makes it easier for you to grade quickly. And then Ryan, he's getting 0 points. So now you see how you can easily grade. And so then I'll give myself 5 points. And so that's basically how you can, there are a number of different ways that you can grade. And so now if we go back to the GradeCenter, but because I didn't save, only I got that grade. So you see where I had user error. That was a good example of user error right there. I'm glad I showed you that, because as instructors, we often have user error. So even though you can use the arrow back and forth, you have to select the point value, then at the bottom select submit, then use the arrow at the top to go forward again. So only my score is saved. So now let's go to how to, we talked about grade details, but let's go back here to mines, to this grade. So that's view grade details. So this is the grade details for this. So you see the feedback to me. Let's talk about, look at my attempts. So if this was an assignment link and say a student said, and you only gave the student the ability to submit one attempt, and they sent you an email, or help desk sent you an email saying that the student had a problem submitting the attempt because of the browser or something, and you gave a deadline by 11:59 on April the 11th, then you as the instructor would need to clear the attempt so that that student could go and submit that assignment. And this is where you would do that. So you would, and it says delete this attempt. This action is final and cannot be undone. So you can do that here. And so now you see it's 0 again. And then I'm going to go back and look at Ryan. So then when we look at Ryan, I want to look at some grade details, and it'll just show that the average score for this assignment is 5. It's included in the grade calculations, and the sort and the primary display as a score, and it's assignment 3. So now if I look at exempting a grade, so this was out of 1 point. So I want to exempt this grade. If we exempt a grade, it's only going to be exempted for Ryan. So let's go back to, I need to submit it though, so it could be exempted for him. So if something is exempted for a particular student, if we go back to that GradeCenter, you'll see this symbol, and you'll see where for this particular assignment, Ryan is exempted from this. So this 1 point that this assignment is worth is not going to be included in his GradeCenter calculations. So let's say that you want to override a score. So let's go back. I'm kind of doing poor in this class. Let's go and override something. Let's see what they've given me a bad grade on, and let's go override it. Said, let's go here to quiz 1, and let's go override it. So let's go view grade details. And so I got 18 out of 25. So let's go manually override. So I'm back into the grade details for this particular test. So I had one attempt, and I'm going to go to manually override that grade. I want 25. Well, the instructor is going to give me 25. So you'll automatically see where it says the original grade has been overwritten, basically. So, but before that can happen, I have to submit it and save it. So now you'll see where I have 25, and you'll see where now this is in orange. So whenever a grade is overwritten, you can identify it because it's in orange. So if we go back to the full GradeCenter, you're going to see a triangle for me. What's this? Yeah, this is it. So let me go back here, but I want to go back and let me go and revert. So say I didn't mean to give myself 25 because I really didn't deserve it. So we can revert back to what the original score was. I don't think that was the 25, but that's really how you do things. So we've covered how to assign a grade, how to edit and delete a grade, how to view grade details, how to clear or ignore an attempt, how to exempt a grade, and how to override a grade, and how to undo and override a grade that's been overwritten. So now a new feature that came about as of Service Pack 9 was how to grade anonymously. Okay, why would someone want to grade anonymously? You know, why? Do we have time? I would like to, oh, we only have 5 minutes. That would be a great question for me to know from instructors why. One of the reasons why Blackboard is saying that instructors might want to grade anonymously is to prevent instructor bias. So let me go and bring in the full GradeCenter really quick and show you how you grade anonymously. Is that you would go at the top of that column, and then it has to be on a interactive feature though, unfortunately, and none of these are interactive. I think I have a block in here. So keep in mind that okay, I don't have any of the features set up that you can grade anonymously. So let me just tell you what you're supposed to do. The purpose of the feature is to reduce bias in instructors grading when the feature is used. And so it's used with assignments. But I have deleted a lot of the type of, oh, here's one. So you can use it for quizzes and exams. So it'd be great for like an essay exam, a short answer quiz. So then really what you would do is bring it up like that. And what comes up, the user's name does not appear. They come up as a student 1, student 2, student 3, and then their scores will appear as such. So you can't see the student's name when grading happens.
Tara, I appreciate you getting through those first two main objectives. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have time to get to the information on the smart views, but we do have a session scheduled at the end of May that we do not have completely filled up yet, so we will hopefully get to the SmartView information during that time. And the GradeCenter is very complex. There's a lot to cover. Thank you, Tara, for the information you shared with us today, and we will try to answer more questions on this at a later date. Remember that we do have information on previous sessions on our OAT site, and again, you can access that at sites.arbor.edu/OAT, and we will have the information from today's session posted to our OAT site on Monday afternoon. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to submit those to us through email, but we are going to wrap up this session. I know people have other appointments to get to this afternoon, but thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next time.